Today, unfortunately, the persecution of the Baha'is in Iran continues. The Baha'i community has seen a rise in attacks against women since last year, Baha'i women since last year, after the 2022 uprising in support of the rights of women in Iran. Dozens of Baha'i women summoned to court facing baseless charges and years in prison, separating them from their families and exposing them to the cruelty and the violence of the Iranian judicial system. Since 2021, the overall persecution of the Baha'is in Iran has actually increased on an average of 50% each year. Another of the most disturbing new trends has been the violent and abusive treatment of the Baha'is whose homes are raided during arrests and the verbal and physical abuse against them in detention centers.
Since 2000, USERV has each year recommended to the State Department that it designate Iran as a country of particular concern, or CPC, the worst possible category. And the State Department has done so since 1999. Iran's government also deliberately fans the flames of religious intolerance against the Baha'is. Iran blames Baha'is for economic and religious strife in the country, falsely claiming that they're treasonous and a threat to national security. These disinformation campaigns create an atmosphere of suspicion in which Baha'is are less safe. Baha'is do not even enjoy nominal protection of their rights under Iran's constitution. Articles 499 and 500 of Iran's penal code prohibit activity that could lead to quote-unquote societal tensions. And these articles are simply a legal ploy, of course, to threaten religious minorities in Iran, but they are pointedly employed time and time again to target Baha'is. We call on the U.S. government to hold Iranian officials, including members of the security forces, responsible for blatant violations of religious freedom and crimes against humanity.
Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, many other rights organizations, international and Iranian, have documented everything from the brutal crackdown on nationwide protests, sexual violence and rape in detention facilities, the targeting of human rights activists, including a Nobel Prize winner. Persecution has an international legal definition. So it's part of something called the Rome Statute. That's the founding treaty of the International Criminal Court, which is empowered to investigate and prosecute the most heinous crimes in the world, and it's limited. The Rome Statute essentially lists 11 crimes that can amount to a crime against humanity when committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against any civilian population with knowledge of the attack. What does that mean? All that means is it's part of state policy at a widespread or systematic level to target a civilian population. As far back as 1983, they had essentially outlawed and prohibited any type of administrative or community organization of the Baha'i faith. In 1991, they had a kind of founding policy memo that structured how the Iranian state would deal with the Baha'is. And essentially the whole goal, they wrote it out in a confidential memo that's published as part of the archives of the Baha'i international community, which is we seek to block, that is the Baha'is, progress and development. They can't work in many public sector jobs. They are often banned in terms of private employment, certificates, business licenses. They are banned from university education. They even kick kids out of school if kids try to defend themselves when teachers spew essentially hate speech against them and the Baha'i faith. In court documents, people are arrested not because they did something, peaceful protest, etc., which is also wrong, but simply because they are Baha'i. Commentators, Iranian, foreign, all seem to agree nothing's going to change in this government. This is a government and an authorities that are committed to the path that they're on of repression. We want international states and other entities to pay attention to this problem because it deserves it, given the level of severity of it.
The Human Rights Watch report, what it does is it gives even greater weight to essentially the documentation that has existed and really brings it all together to make this conclusion, which is that the persecution of the Baha'is in Iran is considered a crime against humanity of persecution, which is a very serious crime under international law.
Something needs to be done to enable these activists to document and raise awareness safely of this war the regime is waging against them, and then also help them overcome digital censorship and surveillance, avoid entrapment, and really try to help expose or continue to expose the scale of repression that's underway.
This isn't just, an individual here and there being persecuted because of their faith. This is an effort to erase, in a sense, a whole tradition, a whole faith. And I think that's what makes it truly a crime against humanity. I really congratulate Human Rights Watch for shining the light on this, but more than that, for bringing it to groups like this so that we can do something about it. Thank you all.